this one question. This question right here. Stop asking it. Let's talk about it. What's up, pod influencers? My name is Ozeal, and I want to welcome you to the Podcast Influence YouTube channel, where I help you amplify your influence with podcasting. On this channel, I'm going to share with you tips, insights, and strategies on how you can pro up your podcast with style and influence and impact and make you just this amazing podcast interviewing host. If you have an interview-based podcast, of course. But speaking of interviewing, all right, how to do it, y'all. It's been on my mind for quite some time. Some of you who know me know that I'm very passionate about the art of the interview and how, as podcast hosts, it is our obligation to deliver an amazing interview that people will talk about, that will result in people marketing our podcast and sharing it with their audience, right? This is important, okay? Now, this video, I'm gonna talk about the worst question, like the worst question you can ask your guest. Now, I may get some pushback. I may get some thumbs down. If that's okay, I'm with that. If that's how you feel, I may get some pushback on this one, but it's something that I hear a lot of podcasters ask. To me, I think it's a mistake that a lot of podcasters make. And this is something, again, this podcast is about helping you pro up your podcast with style and influence and with just dopeness and professionalism. And I have to shoot this video for you. So here we are. Are you ready? Here we go. The worst question that you can ask your guests. Take a wild guess. Go ahead. Tripping. The worst question that you can ask your guest, especially in the intro, is, drum roll, tell us about yourself. Yeah. Susan, Michael, Jerry, tell us about yourself. The worst question you can ask as a podcast host. Now, some may argue that question elicits the conversation to broaden, right? To, give you information that can be a conversational extension, a segment. But from my school of thought and my experience, I believe that question is unfocused, it's unprofessional, it's too general, and frankly, it's a dangerous question to ask, okay? And if you're asking this question, you may notice that when you ask that tell us about yourself question, leading question, you normally say it's a leading question. Tell our audience about yourself. They don't know what to do. It puts the guest in an awkward situation. They don't know how far they could go back. Should they go back when they were in elementary school, when they were a baby, how middle school, high school? It's too general. And it puts, they probably done a lot of things in their life, right? And they don't know where they can pinpoint exactly what to talk about. Now, they got a little bit of context because they're on your show, but the question is just way too general. And you're basically giving them the keys to run and take the ship elsewhere. Like, they're running with that question. And it's going to put you in an awkward situation, because if you don't have experience as a podcast interviewer or experience interviewing, you won't know what to do with that and segue into the interview. So it's important for you to ask that question. It's a question that I hear a lot, and I think that we as podcast hosts can do a better job in asking leading questions. So instead of a general question, try adding context to the question. So instead of tell us about yourself, a better question would be, tell us about the story of when you decided to quit school and pursue entrepreneurship. Okay, you're pinpointing exact moments in their lives that you know about because you have done the research for your guests and you know what they're about, and you're pinpointing exactly where you want to steer the conversation. Okay. Saying that you have like a podcast on entrepreneurship. Okay. And you have a little bit of background on them. So I think it's something that we as podcast hosts, once again, it's our responsibility to be able to steer the ship, and asking general questions like tell us about yourself will make it awkward on their end, especially if they're not prepared. And it's just a more difficult conversation to have. And to me, the best interviews are the ones that have context, that are clear, and they're very specific. So if you're specific by pinpointing exact questions to them, they'll give you specific answers, and then you can add more context, and it can lead to great conversation about the context and about the topic that you're trying, or value you're trying to deliver to your audience. Okay, so please stop asking the question. And if you ask the question, I mean, leave me in the comment section down below. I mean, how's it working out for you? Do you like it? I'm open for pushback. If you feel like it's a great question, then go right ahead, leave me a comment in the comment section. But personally, I feel like the pro interviewers that I look up to, that I admire, that I've learned from, are the ones that are very specific about the where we want to gauge and where we want to steer the ship in regards to the topic. We don't have a lot of time to get into general information. We want to provide the most concise, valuable content for our listeners. You know, time is valuable. Can't take it for granted. And the more specific we are, the better the conversation and interview will be. All right. So leave me in the comment section. Let me know what you think down below. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the notification button to be first in line for all the weekly content every Thursday. My name is Ozeal. Thanks again for watching this video. Till next time, peace and one love.